We're on your side tonight talking about the economic impact of special sporting events here in the Queen City. Of course, we have the Panthers, the Hornets, Knights, Charlotte FC games. But in recent years, Charlotte has welcomed standalone events, collegiate tournaments, bowl games, big golf events. Just this month, we have 3 separate events being held right here in Charlotte. The ACC Football Championship was played at Bank of America Stadium. Next week, the Spectrum Center will host the Jumpmen Invitational, a series of men's and women's college basketball games. And then just before the end of the year, the Duke's Mayo Bowl will bring fans from both Maryland and NC State to the Queen City. Yes, these events, a lot of fun for sports junkies, but they also mean more money for Charlotte hotels, restaurants, and businesses. This week, our Alex Giles spoke to the executive director of the Charlotte Sports Foundation about bringing these major events to Charlotte and boosting the local economy.
Lisa Jackson of Boiling Springs is a diehard Clemson fan. She's met iconic football coach Dabo Swinney, and she's watched her Tigers play for a national championship. Just weeks ago, she was one of thousands who attended the ACC Football Championship game at Bank of America Stadium. What do you like about the experience?
Just the whole fan experience. We went, for example, this year we went and we tailgated prior to the game, and then we went and did the entire fan experience, the Fan Fest experience.
She's been to the ACC Championship multiple times. Not only does she have a ton of fun watching her team win, she spends some cash that benefits local businesses here in Charlotte.
I think it brings the revenue into Charlotte because, I mean, in the past, when we've not had time to tailgate, we would always go somewhere uptown to eat.
And that revenue is nothing to shrug at. Big events like the ACC Championship can bring in tens of millions of dollars. I spoke one-on-one with Charlotte Sports Foundation Executive Director Danny Morrison.
What can the economic impact be like when you have bowl games or a tournament coming to the Queen City?
Well, it'll be a significant economic impact. Last year, in 2021, the economic impact of our events was somewhere around $94 million.
And this year, a new event is being added to the mix, the Jumpman Invitational, a college basketball showcase featuring both men's and women's teams from North Carolina, Michigan, Oklahoma, and Florida.
We love having the opportunity to showcase Charlotte to the Oklahoma fans, the Michigan fans, the Florida fans. Those fan bases certainly haven't been in Charlotte on a regular basis, so we're looking forward to letting them see our great city.
How much, I guess, do you think the businesses and the hotels, how much do they benefit from something like this?
Well, it's really important. Part of our mission is to bring economic impact. And for those areas that were crushed during COVID, the hotels, the restaurants, it's really nice to be able to bring events and see them flourish.
Here are some of the 2021 stats compiled by the Sports Foundation. More than 270,000 fans attended Charlotte Sports Foundation games in 2021. Nearly 114,000 hotel room nights were generated by Charlotte Sports Foundation events in 2021. And last year alone, the Duke's Mayo Classic brought in nearly $49 million in economic impact and $26.2 million in direct spending. The proof is in the profits. Charlotte can be a good host city. At least Lisa Jackson thinks so.
I think it's a good central location for especially your ACC teams. No matter which way you're coming in, Charlotte's a good location. And I think that's why you see such a good turnout for those games, because it's so accessible to just about any of the college teams.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun to have these big events in town. You see everybody with their college sweatshirts and hats on. So the inaugural Jumpman Invitational is coming.
Yes.
Hail to the victors? No, sorry. Tar Heel fan over here. Michigan and UNC are playing a couple other games, or one other game as well.
Yeah.
How long does it take to pull an event like that together?
So to give you an idea, that's happening next week, so the very end of 2022. He was telling me, Danny Morrison, that they started talking about that back in 2019. He said, you got to get a lot together before something like that can actually happen, especially with the scheduling. When you're talking about 4 different athletic directors from the 4 schools, Michigan, UNC, Oklahoma, Florida, and then you got men's and women's teams for each school that's participating. So it's a lot to bring together. And he said all of the athletic directors were immediately like, you know, this is a cool idea, and especially working with the Jumpman folks, but it takes time to get something like that ready to go. So it takes a few years.
We were kind of talking during the story, but it'd be nice to have a tournament here, right?
Exactly.
In the holiday season. Anything else in the works for the city right now?
I asked him that multiple times in a couple different ways just to see if I could get something out of him. And he said, we're really focused on keeping a lot of the events, the Duke Mayo Bowl game, Duke Mayo Classic, as well as, the ACC events that we get right here in Charlotte. Focused on keeping those. He said, but we're always looking for new ideas. And the Jumpman Invitational is a great example of that. This is the first time they're doing it.
Spectrum Center is going to be rocking, I think, next
so.
week, right? Should
Go
be lots
Tar
of
Heels.
fun. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Alex, as always. Tell us your thoughts about the sporting events in Charlotte. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter using the hashtag OYSTonight. You can also scan the QR code there on your screen to get to our mobile menu where you can write us an email.